More than 850,000 voters in Malaysia's state of Negeri Sembilan are expected to turn out tomorrow after 2 weeks of campaigning for state positions. The final campaigning hours seeing parties drilling down to key battleground states, the cost of living and local development priority issues. But other concerns such as clean governance in a state-run fund for Islamic pilgrimage being raised by no less than the Prime Minister on the campaign trail for his coalition. And for latest on the ground ahead of polling day, we cross live to our senior correspondent, Melissa Goh. She's in Ampangan in Negeri Sembilan. Melissa, 2 weeks of campaigning, what's the mood like on the ground?
Well, Wesu, by and large, nothing untoward marred this 2 weeks campaigning across Negeri Sembilan, from morning walkabouts in the market, house-to-house visits to mosques and all sorts of community engagements and activities. Of course, nightly rallies where political bigwigs from both sides of the divide were out in full force in these high-stake elections, canvassing votes for their candidates. Now, some speeches were heated, rooted in identity politics. Sensitive issues like race, religion, and royalty were raised. Now, a couple of police reports were lodged. This as temperature continues to soar ahead of polling day tomorrow. Now, I was at the local mosque here in Ampangan, one of the hotly contested areas where 70% of voters are ethnic Malays. I caught up with Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim himself after Friday prayers, together with the other media. Now, he was non-committal when asked about Pakatan Harapan's chances of retaining the state of Negeri Sembilan, but he is hopeful. It's not easy, the political climate, with the blue wave sweeping across from the south. He desperately needs to stop the momentum from Barisan Nasional that's working with the opposition coalition Perikatan Nasional at the state level now. Undefeated, Mr. Anwar maintained that he works well with his deputy Zahid Hamidi, who's chairman of Barisan Nasional in the unity government. Now, Zahid, he said, has agreed himself to unveil this damning report of the alleged wrongdoings that resulted in the pilgrimage fund suffering billions of losses. But the timing of the releasing it now, he insisted, has nothing to do with the state election. Now, this is what he said. Will it be enough to swing votes at such a late stage?
Well, it's not an issue of votes because this is too massive an issue. Whether the voters can grasp this in a short time is, to me, a separate issue. As far as I'm concerned, win or lose, as far as I'm concerned, this cannot be tolerated.
Now, some said that this RCI report may have come too little, too late. Now, the report was out 3 years ago, and voters whom I met on the ground appeared unperturbed. Many seem to have made up their minds who they want to vote for. Now, time is difficult, things are expensive, and they are not happy. Now, let's hear them out.
Saya rasa ada impact, tapi mungkin tak banyak lah sebab dia last minute dan kebanyakan orang pun dah decide kan. Tapi mungkin ada golongan atas pagar yang mana yang dia ada sikit impact lah.
Dah dapat penjelasan 3 tahun je terpendam. Lepas tu pilihan raya, you apa untuk apa? Tak betul lah bagi saya lah. Bagi saya, rakyat itu tak betul benda tu. Kalau sakau daripada dulu, buat tindakan.
Melissa, the declassification of information from this report by the RCI, that's just in the last day or so. Other issues have defined this campaign. Do you feel the way they have campaigned, that has resonated with voters on the ground?
Well, it is, after all, one of the most fiercely fought state elections, and Negeri Sembilan being, although a small state, the stakes are just so high after the dismal showing by Pakatan Harapan in Johor 3 weeks ago. Now, while Barisan Nasional and the opposition Perikatan Nasional appear to have succeeded in galvanizing, uniting the Malay votes in Johor, and now looks set to replicate the success here in Negeri Sembilan. Now, Pakatan Harapan hasn't found a way to counter that. They need a huge voter support turnout, Pakatan Harapan said. While non-Malays used to be their core support, their base, many are working outside the states. Now, the focus now is also turned to the youth votes and the indigenous community, the Orang Asli, to help PH cross the finishing line in a very difficult race, which the outcome is still too close to call. Now, we'll bring you this report to sum up all the actions on the ground.
Seeking re-election amid stiff competition from former ally Barisan Nasional and opposition coalition Perikatan Nasional, Pakatan Harapan unveiled its election manifesto. It pledged good governance, inclusive growth, affordable housing, and quality jobs and business opportunities. With voters under 40 making up nearly half of the electorate, incumbent Chief Minister Aminuddin Harun has pledged higher cash aid, particularly for students.
So I'm actually voting for a better education for me as a student, for all the students to get good universities, and hopefully they can get the university that they desire.
Pengangkutan tu penting lah. Sebab kita orang memang ulang-alik kan, bas, flight ke, KTM ke, macam tu. Lepas tu beasiswa lah.
Barisan Nasional, meanwhile, has pledged to spur growth through better service delivery and youth-focused incentives. To woo the indigenous community, BN Chairman Ahmad Zaid Hamidi has proposed appointing a special officer for the Orang Asli in the Negeri Sembilan Chief Minister's office.
Although Orang Asli, or the indigenous community in Negeri Sembilan, is relatively small, accounting about 2% of the electorate, but in a closely contested race, every single vote counts. Now, ahead of the elections, both BN and Perikatan Nasional have been stepping up engagement with the local community, promising them better roads, transportation, easier access to healthcare and education.
Kami orang minta macam rumah, tanah, macam tanah adat. Sebab kita orang ni orang susah berharap daripada tanah, hasil pun daripada tanah.
Not to be outdone, opposition coalition Perikatan Nasional has unveiled its own proposals to complement BN's manifesto. Both have agreed not to contest against each other to avoid splitting the Malay votes in Negeri Sembilan. PN Chairman Ahmad Samsuri Mokhtar of the Islamic Party PAS hopes that BN-PN cooperation will bring about a paradigm shift in the country's politics.
Melakukan anjakan paradigma di Negeri Sembilan sebagai permulaan.
A lot of young people struggle. So at that level, the dissatisfaction with government, the distrust in institutions and officialdom, very, very high. This is not a campaign that's based on policies. This is not a campaign that's based on leadership. It's a campaign run purely on sentiment. Purely on sentiment, like against the DAP, against Anwar, because Anwar is in bed with DAP, and that Anwar has overpromised and hasn't delivered.
The 2-week campaign has been intense, with race and religion featuring prominently on the campaign trail. For Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim and Pakatan Harapan coalition, the stakes are high as they fight to retain Negeri Sembilan and stop the momentum behind PN and BN cooperation. With many marginal seats at stake, Pakatan Harapan is banking on an 80% voters turnout on August 1st.
Thanks to CNA senior correspondent Melissa Gold, wrapping up all the issues and the mood on the ground, reporting live from Ampangan in Negeri Sembilan.